Ram Dass said that the guru is the doorway through which you see truth.
Okay, dude, you ready?
I know words, I have the best words.
Ramana Maharshi said that God, Guru, and the Self are all one. Sub-ek, it's all one. God, Guru, and the Self. So if you examine this teaching from Ramana Maharshi, it can be really beneficial because it forces you to be in an awareness in which confronts the moment as a lesson. Always. If you look at reality through that perspective, then the Guru is always here. It's always now. The Guru is now. That's the whole point, is that it's always here. It's not necessarily that the Guru has to be delivering you some esoteric spiritual wisdom. It's that the Guru is a representation of divinity. And that's always found. That's always present. There's presence in the present. I was just in India with Krishna Das and Raghu Marcus, who has a Mind Rolling podcast, and Rameshwar Das, who edits Ram Dass. All these people that were in India with Neem Karoli Baba back in the 70s, who is a famous saint, a famous guru, who was popular for having mystical powers. I always had this sort of conflict of wanting a guru, a physical guru. Yeah, the idea of the moment being the guru is nice, and the idea of hearing other people talk about their gurus and me reading about teachers and stuff like that, there is a deep connection to be had. But I want a guru in person, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. And this was something that I brought up to Krishna Das and these guys, and I kept saying, like, it's nice to hear these stories, but I would like my own stories. I would love to meet somebody like this, a true saint, a being of divinity, of love and light that represents all of that. I want that. I want to be around that. And I can see that the impact it's had on these guys, because they're still lit up from it 50 years later, because they were with Neem Karoli Baba, and the radiance of him has still remained stained on these guys' auras. You know, they're still blissful from their interaction that happened in the 70s. That's what I want to talk about in this video, is how to find a physical guru, because the philosophical guru has its place, you know, and ultimately that is what we should be striving for. We shouldn't be looking for temporary symbols for enlightenment or spiritual awakening or self-realization, but it's helpful, I think. So to backtrack back into India, while I was just there, I got to meet a very special person, a person that I can only kind of describe as being a living Buddha, like an incarnation of something really curious. And his name is Shyam Sundar Das Baba, and you guys probably saw him in my India vlogs, the Jungle Baba. I stayed with him for a bit, just hanging outside of this cave in the jungle where he just sits all day. And he doesn't speak English too well, and he initiated me as a devotee, and I will be making more videos about him because he is someone that I consider a guru. And what a guru represents to me is almost like a psychedelic trip. Maybe because psychedelics have been such a catalyst in my awakening that's like my only context, but if you've ever had a spiritual experience or even a really bad trip from hallucinogenic plants, from psychedelics, then you know that surrender is key, where you have no choice but to accept the fact, the eternal truth that you are not in control of this. And when you accept this, especially in a psychedelic trip, because there is no, it's ego shattering, it's ego obliterating to be in a mind altering state like that, and you find yourself left grasping at any bit of your ego that you can, which usually is what triggers the bad trip, is because you're trying to control the experience by, you know, your ego's trying to take charge. A psychedelic experience and a real true spiritual teacher will obliterate these boundaries of who you think you are. And when you can surrender, which is the key to all of this, when you can surrender is when you will find pure bliss, and you will find your higher self, your soul. For me, I think about it like this. I think of like the ego as like an evaporating pond. We have this kind of overwhelming urge to stay filled up and distracted. But when we can just let go of the idea that we need to remain full of ourselves and just allow our water to evaporate into the next form, then we can realize that it's all just one process. It goes back to what Ramana Maharshi said, that the Guru, God, and the Self are all the same. It's all one. The sand underneath the pond and the sky above it are all required for there to be a pond in the first place. But the ego wants to claim and identify itself as being one part of the whole. You can only truly know yourself by letting go of the idea that you are a somebody. Because what are you in control of ultimately? Your breath? We feel like we can control our breath. But when we stop thinking about it, it keeps going. Our breath keeps going, our blood is flowing, our bodies are growing. All of this is happening without our consent, without our control. The only thing that we're in control of is the way that we perceive this unraveling of the carpet of life. We're just walking this carpet as it unfolds. The only thing that we can do is look at it and be it and perceive it. You can only control the way that you perceive it and the perspective in which you view what's happening. You can't control what's happening because you are what's happening. You're not separate from it. So the Guru is a reflection. They act as a mirror to reflect back to us our inner divinity, our inner potential of what we can become, what we already are, if we allow ourselves to surrender, ultimately, is what it comes back to, always. But if we allow ourselves to loosen the noose of our attachments, the relationship between the devotee and the Guru is all about surrender, because you are surrendering to your true place of being a servant. That's what we are. We are servants. And I know a lot of people don't like this idea, especially from the Western perspective. Our place here in the universe is to be the servant, to be in service to the environment, to the planet, to be in service to one another, to be in love, to be in service to ourselves. This is our place. And when we are disconnected from this is when our ego inflates, and when we get into this sort of cultural hysteria that we're kind of seeing played out now. So the Guru is someone that's been successful in this detachment, and we surrender to them because they've surrendered. It's a mirror reflection. A lot of us can't get to these places by ourselves. We need these symbols to reflect back to each other. I don't know who I am unless you exist to reflect back to me. If we disagree, good, because you are helping me solidify my own beliefs. You're helping me know who I am. There's always a relationship happening. So these symbols are useful. Having a guru or some sacred symbol to align ourselves with is been like the center of my spiritual practice. Think about an inspiring movie. You watch this inspiring movie and it triggers all these emotions of like, when you walk out of the movie theater, you feel like, fuck, I can do anything I want. Like, I'm going to change the goddamn world. You feel it passionately burning inside of you, but nothing even happened. You just sat on a chair watching lights on a screen. This inspiration, this fiery passion, or this sadness or love or whatever it was that was triggered is already inside of you. This is already you, baby. It's already there. So these symbols are useful when it comes to cultivating or unlocking our inner potential. That's all a guru is. Okay, so long story short, how do you find a guru? So the more you sort of mine away at this spiritual mountain of self-realization, the more these diamonds and precious gems are revealed to you, like Ram Dass, Neem Karoli Baba, Siddhi Ma, Sham Sundar Das, all these people that have just somehow popped into my life. It's not like I was even actively seeking this type of path. It just happened the more I walked the unraveling carpet of life, you know? And I don't think And again, I don't think you need to travel anywhere for self-realization. It's always here, it's always present, but stories are useful. Dancing is fun. Dance your way around, enjoy this music of life, and you will find someone if you seek it. If you want to find truth, you will find it. And if you want to find it in the form of a guru, go out and find it by going out and finding yourself. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure to click subscribe. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.